Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today. The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency and Okuma.
Hey folks, Fred Golofaro here with this week's video fishing forecast, and we got the long holiday weekend coming up. Weather conditions look pretty good. We may see some showers at some point over the weekend, but the seas have laid down. By the time you watch this, they'll have laid down. We had seas up to 10 feet up through Wednesday, and that pretty much shut down the fishing for the first half of the week, so reports were a little sketchy. But coming into the weekend, Friday, they're talking about 2 to 4 foot seas, northwest 10 to 15. Saturday going to come northeast a little bit, but they're still calling for 2 foot seas and swinging to southeast later in the day. Sunday, southwest 10 to 15, 3 to 4 foot seas, and we'll see what Monday brings. But all in all, looks like a very fishable weekend. I know a lot of folks out there are looking for albacore to show up. Albies, false albacore. Not really much going on with them yet. We heard a couple of weeks ago of a couple of fish being caught, being seen, but hasn't really happened yet. This could be the weekend it breaks wide open. If you're a light tackle fan and you're looking to tangle with some albies, probably the most likely places are going to be Shinnecock or Montauk if they show up, and that'll spread to the other inlets. But could happen this week. Fluke, again, it looks like we're getting into that fall transition a little bit. We've had a lot of fall-like weather already. Fluke are going to start staging and working towards the inlets and then out into the ocean. So keep that in mind if you're tracking down fluke. Out on the east end, no shortage of fluke or bass for that matter. Still a lot of bass. We came off the new moon last week. The boats drifting eels at night did a big job on the bass, up to 47, 48 pounds. Some bigger fish. I got a photo of a nice 54-incher that was released in Montauk a few days ago. So there are still plenty of bass in Montauk if that's what you're looking for. Fluke fishing too. Before this heave came on, a lot of good fluking on the south side, but also on the north side, and a lot of quality fish still in the fishery. Lots of bait in the rips right now. Don't see that fishing showing any sign of slowing down at this point. Further west, Shinnecock, again, there was good ocean fluking, and still fluke in the bay. You just got to pick through the sea robins. But you get that right tide, that last of the income, and you got a good shot at catching a quality fluke. Up on the North Fork, Mattatuck's been pretty hot with a mix of bluefish, sea bass, and porgies. They've been jigging those fish up, so if you want to get out in the sound, that might be a good opportunity. And yes, still plenty of weakfish in Noyak Bay. Still big numbers, and they're mixing with kingfish and blowfish. Down along the South Shore, we'll see how sea bass responds. Now that that heave has settled down. But we know the ocean fluking should only get better now as we enter September, and the stage is set really for that offshore migration. If you get out again, I would suggest you can use the bucktails, the jigs, standard fluke rigs, but I'd have somebody on the boat or have another rod out with a nice big bait, either a live snap or a whole squid or a nice strip bait, a bluefish fillet. All good choices if you're looking for a big fish. There was an 11-pound fluke caught inside Merich's Bay just a couple of days ago by a youngster. So still big fish in the bays also. Snappers are everywhere from all the local docks. Just about everybody I speak to is talking about what a great snapper year it's been. And in case you didn't hear by now, on the weekend there was a 94-pound cobia caught outside Fire Island Inlet. The fish was weighted chasing tails, and it took a live bunker. It was in on the bunker schools. So you never know what you're going to find out there among the bunker schools. Of course, there's sharks in those schools too. Down along the west end, fluke, Hempstead Reef, Cholera, both producing lots of nice fluke. Again, the size limit doesn't seem to matter much at this point in the season. A lot of keepers and quality keepers being caught. And there are still fish in the bay there too, but again, look for that to start shifting to the inlet and ocean. On the North Shore, porgies remain a sure bet, but bluefish seem to be coming on. Last weekend was the WICC Bluefish Tournament, and did produce quite a few big blues in the 14 to 17 pound class. It looked like the western end of the sound had the edge with the big blues. The top fish in the WICC were all 17 pounds. I believe there were 4 of them. So there are some big choppers around if that's your cup of tea. And offshore, it's kind of hard to tell. Again, nobody could really get off the last few days. I think you're gonna have to check your temperature charts and find some good water, some good temperature breaks, and try to relocate some of the tuna and sharks that were out there in good numbers prior to that heave. There were a lot of mahi around. There's been green bonito around, and again, you're gonna probably have to do a little searching, but the sea should be good. You should have a few days to zero in on some of that offshore action. Good news for the surf guys. Montauk broke open on Wednesday morning. A lot of bass all along the north side and up to the point. No big fish that I know of, not to say they weren't caught, but there were only a handful of guys fishing Wednesday morning. And they had fish up to 36 inches that I know of. And that's probably going to be most of the bass we're seeing this year. Say schoolies, husky schoolies from 22, 24 inches on up to 32 inches with a few bigger fish mixed in. But that was good news. There's loads of bait out in Montauk, a lot of white bait, and there were a lot of bluefish on the weekend. Big schools of bluefish spread along that whole north side, not always within reach of the surf, but they were there. So all good signs for the beginning of the fall. So let's see how that develops. And speaking of surf, don't forget the Fisherman Surf Show. That's coming up on September 14th. It's at the Huntington Hilton, runs from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. First 500 attendees get a goodie bag with a nice assortment of tackle. And you also get a free raffle ticket. It's a great raffle. We'll be giving away a Van Staal reel, Lamaglass, St. Croix rods, a lot of other great prizes, great rods. There's ongoing seminars. Crazy Alberto Nye, Bill Wetzel, Al Gaggs, Matt Broderick, Doc Muller, and myself will all be speaking during the course of the night. So come on down. It's $20 at the door, $15 for 16 and under. Till next week, Fred Golofaro here for thefisherman.com.
Win the incredible Steigercraft 21DB Miami, powered by a Yamaha 200, in the ultimate season-long multiple species subscriber-only fishing competition, the Fisherman's 2017 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Go to thefisherman.com and enter today.